refresh. How many people do we have in here? Too bad we don't get to see the chat box. That would be cool.
Oh, there's a couple people in there.
What's up, everybody?
There's a couple people in there.
Couple people.
I don't understand why this always works this way.
Mama's trying to get in on the computer. We'll be right with you after these short messages.
What you gonna do? Okay, we're good.
You can try micro jig. Maker of the gripper.
Hello. There's Wendy, Orphan Lady. I know we saw a few more a minute ago, so Amanda's Garden.
Hey Amanda. I haven't forgot about what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna get that tomorrow. Crazy here, weather, raining, and wasn't gonna take the camera out there through the rain.
Hey Karen. Hey Grandpa.
Grandpa's 4.
Billy Branch Homestead, Tanya, Idol, let's see, Simply Circus.
I was watching your live stream there, Grandpa, but I couldn't ever hear you. Did you? I don't know if you got that squared away or not.
Oh, Danny's here looking for a coon cap.
Sup, deep soup? We're just talking about you. Now, was it good or was it bad?
Uh-oh.
Now, we were talking about your hat.
He said his provider sucks. That's why, Grandpa. So.
Welcome to the club.
Yes, we've had a really busy day. It's been a busy week.
It's been a busy. I was up till 5 o'clock this morning.
5:30.
5:30. This morning. Mama knows what time I got to bed. Because I was fighting with the internet, trying to get Squash's video up, the Predator Control on the Homestead up, the vlog up, and it was like, no, just not going to do it. I got Predator Control up, and then the vlog just died. And then it finally went up, and then, of course, y'all see Squash finally got up. So.
Yep. We got a lot of people in here tonight. Simply Circus says, speaking of hats, sent you a message on Facebook. I don't know if that's for us or if that's for Deep South. Go for Green's here. Hi. Daniel and Krista.
I'm not talking to Daniel right now.
And hopefully Anna.
Not speaking to Daniel. Nope.
Maria's in here. Hi, Maria.
It's done. Not talking to Daniel. Nope.
Maria, I'm still waiting for my invite to go swimming. Haven't seen you in forever.
Oh, that Maria.
Simply Circus says for you, for Big Bear. You have a message. You gotta go back and check that.
Okay.
So, anybody have any idea what we're talking about in our show tonight? Our title was kind of a little, what?
I'm just trying to follow the spaghetti.
Go for Green said, hey now, it was just a heads up.
Yep. Alright, y'all, moving the camera. Boop. There we go. Y'all like our new shirts? Guess what?
Chicken butt. Okay. Working, let's see.
Okay, time out for this commercial break. And you too can have these wonderful t-shirts for only 14 payments of $9.95.
Okay, so does anybody have any idea what it means when we say juggling on the homestead? Some people probably just came because they wanted to see you juggle online.
No, I kind of put a rumor out on Facebook that you were going to be on a unicycle juggling bowling pins.
Oh gosh, no. I'm not coordinated enough.
And we were calling it hashtag 60.
Hashtag 60? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Wee Tree. Was there more of you guys? He said, see, I was wondering about that.
What?
He said, God, you left us sitting in the other room. I don't know how that happened because I noticed.
Other room?
I think there was like 2, I don't know, because I don't know. Anyway. Oh, Simply Circus found the hat that Fried Squash wants. Oh.
Pikachu.
Okay, Amanda's Garden. Of course you can't read it because our we're getting ready to get a new webcam once we can scrounge the money together. I think we're gonna have a yard sale next weekend, maybe. So, but she wanted to know, what do the shirts say? The shirt says, there's a picture of a chicken. Here, I'll kind of get up and look. Over here, there's a little chicken. I'm gonna post pictures on the Instagram and the website. And then this big bubble right here says, guess what? And then this is a picture of my Delaware down roosting, but all you see really, or not roosting, scratching, and all you see right here is her chicken butt. So it says, guess what? And then, of course, you can see chicken butt.
If you have kids, you get the joke.
Yeah.
My kids run around the house all the time.
Guess what? Chicken butt. Guess what? Chicken butt.
Saw the shirts earlier. How did they see the shirts earlier? Did you send pictures out or something?
No, Tara did.
Oh, Tara did. Oh, okay, yeah.
On the bear thread.
Yes, very cool.
Yeah. Who said that?
Deep South Homestead song. Okay, Freaky Geek 2 said, when I see juggling, I thought doing too many things at once or trying to. Yes. That Kitty's Homestead. Hey, Kitty. So, yeah. What we're talking about tonight. Just about everybody here, if not everybody here, knows that we have 3 children that we homeschool.
Well, you might as well say 4 because the pastor's kid's always here.
Yeah, the pastor's child's always here. So a lot of times we may have 4.
Claiming him on my taxes.
For as much as we feed him, probably. But I will say this about that young man. He is awesome. He works with, he does farm work with us whenever we need him. When our calf was born in the middle of the winter, he dropped everything. It was his mom's birthday, and he dropped everything he was doing and came down and helped us.
Well, that's because he says that we cook better than his mom.
That's not true.
That's what he said.
All right, Amanda's Garden says, Big Bear, Dave wanted me to tell you if he could get there, he would have it done in an hour.
Well, drive him here. I'm just playing.
Karen said we should claim him. She thought that he was one of ours.
It's okay. The lady that makes our t-shirts, she looked at me today and she said, bye, Blaze. And we were walking out the door and I'm like, did she just call you Blaze?
Donna asked if that's the boy that got pretend arrested. Yes, that's him. He's also, if you watched a couple of our other videos, he's kind of the lurking.
He's the one that also ate the pineapples.
Yeah, and the watermelon and...
Yeah, all that stuff. But anyway, I'm sorry, we got off track. Juggling on the homestead.
Prince Edward Island in Canada. Yay, hi Robbie.
Canada.
Robbie Moore. Alright, so juggling on the homestead.
Anybody that has a homestead knows exactly what we're talking about. Seems like from when you get up in the morning and any time you get up, 4, 5, 6, whenever, you get up from that time until the time you're going to bed.
There's always something.
You are running
wide open.
90 to nothing.
Yes. And even sometimes after that, you could be passed out asleep and have to, in the middle of the night, get up and do something.
Get up and do something.
Or like the other night when it poured down rain, we had just put out our meat birds out, and everybody was winding down, getting ready to go to sleep, and all of a sudden the heavens opened up. And we had to stop everything we were doing, get everybody out of bed clothes. Well, not really. We kind of all just went out in our bed clothes and started loading up chicks to take them back in.
Well, what started that was Blaze went out there to do the final look over, and there were 2 feral dogs in there trying to get into the chicken tractors.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to run out there with the equalizer. But
yeah.
Anyway. So how do you on a homestead get everything that needs to get done within that short season of time? Like, you've only got so long to be able to plant stuff, or especially here, and probably down there, over there in Alabama with the guy I'm not talking to right now, and Mississippi. They both, just like us, because of the heat, we've got short windows of time to plant certain vegetables.
Before they get burned,
in order for them to be able to grow, produce their fruit before this summer heat that we always get.
And I don't know about anybody else, but this has been one of the hottest, driest. I mean, like, we've had hot before, but we usually would have a break with some, you know, I'm sorry, I'm going to use the word torrential rain again. But
the last time you said that word, we were out at 3 o'clock in the morning digging a trench.
that was horrible. But yeah, so anyway, basically what ended up happening is, what was I even talking about?
I don't know, you interrupted me. Anyway, we're back to the, I was talking about the short periods of time before, with the stuff to get planted, so that way it could grow, produce fruit before the summer burn up time.
Right.
And then you have other things that are just like that. That was just an example. So how can you get all of this stuff done, get it all prepared?
That's what I was talking about.
And not
go crazy.
Pull your hair out.
Right. So, Wanda said that Danny's keeps records every year, and this is the hottest year we've had. Yeah, that's what I was saying, is that we've had hot before, but it ended up being wet as well. This year we've been hot and dry.
Yep.
And it's been so dry that when we do get rain, it absorbs. I mean, it just runs right off. It doesn't go.
I have a nice little trench from where the last rain came, and it pushed all. We put down wood chips on the side of the house around the AC unit, and we put them about 8 inches to maybe a foot thick, because there was a lot of sticker bushes and junk over there that we just didn't want coming back up, and it pushed a gully right through there, straight back down to the ground. But what I was getting ready to say, and I'm going to use Danny as an example, you have to set yourself certain times. Like Danny, still right now, it's just like me. I'm getting firewood ready for the trapping shed. Danny's he's been cutting wood all spring and all summer. He talks about it. He goes out there early in the morning. He cuts and splits his wood. He does that for a short amount of time, and then he moves on to the next thing. And you have to prioritize depending upon where you live and the temperature. There's a tremendous amount of things to take into consideration. Like, you don't want to be here in Georgia. You don't want to be chopping. I gotta move the camera again, y'all. It keeps cutting me off. I can't get comfortable. Sorry.
Tell Doc hi real quick.
Sup, Doc. You don't want to be out there splitting wood at 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. That's the hottest part of our day.
Right.
I don't want to be in my wood shop.
No, in the middle.
2,
Even
3
though
o'clock.
you've had to go in there just to do some of your filming, and
and lost 5 pounds just walking in there.
Horrible.
Because it's just so hot.
Right.
So that means you've got to prioritize everything that you're doing, and you have to, and it comes with experience, and you have to juggle these things correctly around in order to stay productive, stay healthy, and still get your I had an old staff song, used to call them taskers. You gotta get these taskers complete.
Right.
Yeah. You probably, if he was still alive, he'd come back and kill me. But you have to be able to do that to keep your homestead or your farm moving forward.
Right.
Plus, you've got to get that food put up. You've got to get this stuff ready, because you're always preparing for the next season.
Right.
You can't be in the springtime getting ready for spring. You got to be in the wintertime you're getting ready for spring. In spring you're getting ready for summer. Summer you're getting ready for fall. In fall you're getting ready for winter. What?
Yep. Oh no, I'm just looking at what they're saying and what you're saying. One thing I will say that has helped us is that we use the weather to our advantage. We, during the coolest part of the day in the morning, we feed our animals, do a lot of our outdoor chores that need to be done. And because we homeschool, we still have to fit that in. Where kids traditionally are going to school at like
7 o'clock in the morning and not coming home till 4.
Right, we can't do that.
We don't do that. So
we don't even start our school day until the heat of the day, because we can come out to this room that we're in right now, and it's not small, but it's not huge, and we can keep it rather cool in here with a little window unit. And it doesn't cost us a lot of money. We can turn the air off in the house, and you spend the heat of the day out here. And even when I come home for lunch, we come in here.
We come in here, we eat in here. The kids do their schoolwork. We do, and then that's what, when they're doing their schoolwork, I'm editing videos or writing notes down for the next video, doing any research that I need to do, especially for squash to make school words.
Right.
And that's when we do that. And then after you get home at 5, 6 o'clock, we're back outside again, tidying things up that we need to do. And then if we have the live stream or something to do, then we jump in here and we do that. And it's just putting things in their proper order.
Right.
And it basically, it boils down to everything and anything. It's organization.
Absolutely, and that's the key. That's what this whole juggling thing is. To make it work, you have to have a plan. You can't just throw it out there and go, well, maybe today I might try and do this. Right. It doesn't work that way.
You gotta have a plan, and you have to work your plan.
You gotta work the plan. That's right. So, they're talking about mosquitoes. And yeah, they are. There's Wayne said he wasn't homeschooled, but it's okay. I went to one of the gooder schools. So anyway, the other thing is we have decided ahead of time how much we're going to bite off. Before we don't try to set ourselves up to fail.
Right. And
that's the other thing.
Let me interrupt you. We also use every tool that we have to our advantage. Like we use the Grow Veg.
Right.
And that's our garden planner. It's online. We can sit down at any given point in time.
But at any point in time, if we didn't have the internet, you could draw it.
Yeah, I could draw it.
I just don't want anybody to know that.
But what I'm saying is to helping us now. It takes using that Grow Veg saves me days, because I can draw out the garden pattern that we're going to have that year, and be done with it in an hour or two on the computer, versus it would take me a little bit longer via doing it on my drafting board and stuff like that. So we use that to our advantage.
Kitty's Homestead says there's another program out there that's free that we need to check out, so I gotta write that down. But anyway, go ahead.
We use all the modern tools and stuff to our advantage. Look, if I've got the ability to use an air compressor and a nail gun right now, I'm using it.
Right. To make the work easier now than having to work on it later.
I can swing a hammer with either hand and hit the nail on the head and drive a nail just as good, if not better, than any man out there with either hand. Right. So I can.
But right now, why would you?
Right now,
if you have the resource.
Right now, instead of going bam, bam, bam,
we can get a lot done quicker. Now, hold on. Let me. There's a couple of questions here, guys. Start putting your stuff in caps if you want me to see them a little bit better. I'm having a little bit of a hard time because there's a lot of conversation going on. Karen wanted to know, and this is a very good question. What do you do when the plan just all of a sudden changes?
Semper Gumby.
Yep, always flexible. But the simple answer to that is usually the day is a wash. It usually, like if it's home, and that no. Now listen to me. When, like for instance, let's say we start doing something in the morning with a chore, and all of a sudden animals get out. Life gets in the way. That's our favorite saying. If we have to change that to where the school day, we just cut the school day for the day. That's the beauty of homeschool. It's 180 days a year. We usually do almost 2 school years in a year.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't have a whole lot of wash days, but every once in a while, you gotta have a day that just turns into a wash day. It just
Well,
happens.
that's how you keep your sanity.
Right, that's what I'm saying is don't try to keep so much to that plan that you drive yourself nuts. If it just looks like the day is not going to be salvageable, it's okay every once in a while to have a day that just doesn't turn out the way that...
Don't get addicted to that, because then you'll have piles upon piles of stuff not getting done. And sometimes you just got to push through.
Right.
The day may stink, but you're just going to have to, suck it up and push through,
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you just have to switch gears. Like if you're outside and your plan was to plant or to erect this chicken coop and the skies open up,
Mm-hmm.
well, you take that, like, for example, if we have stuff planned to be doing it outside and out of nowhere a summer thunderstorm just rolls in that morning and we just can't do anything outside, we will take that day, instead of doing that stuff outside, we'll field day the house. Now,
Right.
field day means you clean the house. And my kids never pray for rain because...
They've been happy this summer.
Yeah. But, I mean, it'll be a spring cleaning. Everything comes out of the cabinets. Everything gets washed down. I'll do my pest control service of the house at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And you just got to roll with it and switch gears.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it rained 2 days in a row. Okay, so, all right, we done field day the house. Okay, well, let's finish this project.
Right.
We started painting this one room. All right, well, let's finish that. Or, we started drywalling this. We started doing this or started doing that. And you just switch.
So Wayne's Homestead says, I have a saying on my homestead, adapt or die.
Mm-hmm.
Bumblebee Junction said, I liked what Jason said before. He has to deliberately make time for what needs to be done. Sometimes you just have to be deliberate. That's absolutely right. Let's see. Even Deep South said, absolutely. They're using power tools right now while they can. Even the AC in the house. I mean,
Yep.
you can always adapt to not not having that stuff, and it's good to have the skills, but don't rely on them. Kevin Duff wanted to know, have you noticed a difference in produce yield due to the odd weather we have been seeing? Absolutely. It is ridiculous. One day our plants will be nice, and then the next day we'll have this nasty heat, and it just they'll get wilty, and then the next day, the one I'm really interested to see is what happens with our muscadines. So definitely be looking for that come September-ish. We're going to see a difference, I think, this
We're
year.
not going to have... But see, you also got to take into consideration that as each year evolves and each year rotates, you're not going to have a bumper crop every year. Now, the last, 2-3 years,
Mm-hmm.
we had some big-time bumper crops out of those muscadines.
The last 2 years.
I'm not looking for a bumper crop this year,
No,
and maybe even next year.
And we put away... I mean, the first year we did like 9 gallons of jelly. I mean, we still have jelly that we haven't even touched yet. And we eat jelly all the time.
But during those 2 years that we had bumper in grapes, we didn't get a single peach.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the squirrels were going rounds for what little bit of pecans we got. But this year, our peach tree full of peaches.
Yeah, and like falling over, branches just falling over with them. Even after we've
thinned
them out.
Pecans this year, you can't walk up underneath the trees without going, oh, look at all of them. You know? So squirrel season is going to be great this year.
Deep South said their muscadines are loaded. Ours are loaded too, but I don't know about the taste. That's what I'm curious about. I am willing to bet that they're going to be a little tartar than normal this year. I could be wrong. Just a.
If you haven't figured it
premise.
out, the muscadine vines are her baby, and she is very peculiar.
Steve Malott, I think is his name. He's a new sub. Hi.
Hey, Steve.
Glad
what's
you
up?
dropped by. Let's see. Kitty baked some loaves of bread. That is something that I still am working on perfecting. I can make a biscuit that'll make you slap your mama, but
Oh my!
as far as bread goes,
She makes an awesome bread when she wants to do it. I don't know how we got completely off the subject, but anyway, back to what we were
let's see.
talking.
We're seeing a lot of people that are having rough times this year. Billy Branch said his black walnut trees are thin this year. Ours are doing really well, and so are our pecans. Our pecan trees are loaded down. So we'll see how that all plays out this year.
Do you see how the conversation's going? That's how you got to be with your homestead. For the individual who asked about what do you do when the plan goes to... I had an outline of how I thought that...
You did not have an outline.
I had
Are
it
you
up
kidding?
here.
Okay. Anyway, so Steve's impressed that I said his name right. Okay. Bread recipe, cooking videos. I'll get there. I'll try to put some stuff together for that. I promise. Okay, so back to juggling on the homestead. We got a good 30 minutes to talk about this. Rough hewn, just remind me about the walnuts later. It'll be a little while, but if you'll shoot us a message on Facebook or email, whatever, it'll be fine. We can work something out. They wanted to maybe trade, if we have a bumper crop this year, maybe barter for something.
Oh, okay.
Karen says throw the outline out the window.
I use a lot of my black walnuts are probably one of the most important crops I have on my homestead because we make a tincture out of it, and that tincture does millions of different things, and one of them is a natural dewormer.
By Deep South, they gotta go weed while it's cool.
See what I mean?
Yep.
Semper Gumby.
Yep.
But the major thing that I use them for is, I dye my traps with the hulls.
Yes.
And ever since I started doing that, and I got away from the commercial logwood dye or the speedy dip or whatever, my catch ratio went through the roof. That's the only thing I changed.
Right.
And so I just happen to be a believer. Now,
and I'm also the believer in not having to pay to have something shipped in.
Here it comes.
When
She's
we've got a
always
resource.
complaining about how much money I spend on trapping.
No, I never complain about that. What
Did
I
she
complain
just
about is if we have the resources here, why would we pay somewhere else to do that? That's all. So.
And y'all remember when I was talking about coon cuffs? And she found out how much the price went down. She was complaining because she knew she was going to buy we were going to have to buy some more.
Yes.
See, she just admitted to it. Your Honor, I rest my case.
But anyway, back to juggling. Let's talk a little bit more about this.
We're giving a prime example on how to juggle.
I know, we're working on doing all kinds of stuff. So.
But the major thing is, a prime example is how Deep South had to dip. It's cool at their place right now, and they've got weeding to do.
Right.
That is a weeding is a very physical, laborious job.
And not even, like, even if you're out there for 5 minutes, you can work up a sweat.
And look, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything, but they are an older generation.
They're a little bit older,
And so it's 10 times as taxing on them versus it is on us. Just like it's 10 to 20 times taxing on us than it is our kids.
Right.
You know? I mean, that's why I use garden weeding as a punishment.
Well, but we were out there just before the show. That's why I just got out of the shower before we got online. You know, it's
a solar shower, by the way.
But you know, the thing is we were out there 20 minutes before hand doing it then because we knew we would be in here at this time.
And one of the best things that I can recommend to any beginning homesteader is get a 3-ring binder. Okay? And divide it up into different sections: livestock, gardening, preps, whatever your homestead is about. And what's that?
I'm sorry, I was distracted.
By what?
That was Doc. Doc sent you a picture of his inbox.
And
sorry, there's a couple of people that are salty that you call them an older generation.
it's true. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Did this young buck call me an older generation?
Who said that?
Karina.
Look, let's be honest. You can't run the 40-yard dash like you used to, and neither can I. It's just, I'm not that young of a buck anymore. But I'm just saying, when it comes to the extreme weathers, that's a factor, whether you like it or not, that you have to take into consideration. You know, it's just like if the fecal matter hit the oscillation device, and you're stuck out in town and you got a 20-mile hike, you're not going to be able to do it at the same speed as somebody 20 years younger than you. You're just not. What?
Well, one question was, what's one animal you'd really like to raise on your homestead? But before you answer that, Amanda in capital is like, outline? What outline? And Karina said, Grandpa wanted to point out that there is gray in your beard. So.
That's not gray. That's icing from a cake I ate right before the show.
It says, all them grays making you look extra young.
Sophisticated.
Rough Hewn Homestead said, a groundhog was trapped in our garage and ran out and scared me 2 days ago, the fastest I've moved since high school.
But anyway, and now back to the binder.
The binder?
Yeah, the 3-ring binder.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And keep notes of things. If you went out in the garden to weed at 1 o'clock in the middle of June, and it wore you slap out, make a notation of that. Make a notation of how hot it was. Then
another thing, let me ask you this. I've noticed before when we've weeded in the middle of the day, like we were just out there and I just pulled some, does that not mess with the root system of everything that might be around it, that it might disturb things a little bit? It seems like a couple of times I've done that, it's wilted a little, like some of them have wilted, and I'm sure it's hot outside, so you can't necessarily attribute it to that.
It's going to disturb, when you're snatching something up by the roots, it's going to disturb the ground and everything with it too. I mean, just like no different if the popo came in and snatched you out of the house, it would disturb everything in the house. But
back to answer the question real quick. Is there an animal on your homestead you would like to raise that we don't already raise?
That's a good question. Let me think on that one for a minute. Because I mean, you blurred out pheasants, but we tried pheasants and they weren't worth it. They weren't worth the trouble.
I know you'd like to have goats.
Yes.
I'm really not. Maybe a dairy goat.
You know, but I'm back to, our aquaponic system. I would really like
to get that back up
to
and
get
running.
that
Yeah.
run. We had it running, but we've never been successful with it. We've gotten seeds to germinate. We've gotten, strawberries to grow and produce, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see, Daniel down there at Go for Green Living, I think he could probably grow another human being
Yeah.
in his. He's growing everything in his, and it's kind of like, how did you do it? And one of our issues that we have is trying to get the fish to grow bed ratio right, and
Right.
but
Grandpa's farm said turkeys. We do raise turkeys
we do raise
already.
turkeys.
We already do that. We even have a goose right now that is
She's
sitting
sitting.
on a clutch. So we're kind of excited about that opportunity. Aquaponics. That's what we gotta work on.
But back to the binder. Back to the outline. In this binder, you keep your notes. And then in the wintertime, when you're sitting around your wood burning stove or something, having your cup of coffee or tea, start to review the stuff. Almost like keep a journal.
Mm-hmm.
That way, you'll be able to reflect, okay, wait a minute. That fat guy down there at Big Bear Homestead, he did say that us older people can't do like what we used to, and here, looking back at my notes, fat guy was kind of right. And then you adjust. Okay, well, let me go out there and weed in the garden from 6 to 7 or 6 to 8 and look at your productivity and be honest with yourselves. Okay, so I'm going to start weeding the garden in the morning and then doing this.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll start to see that when you're not being taxed by the weather,
You get more done.
you'll able to get more done, you'll able to be more productive,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll have your energy, and you won't be as dehydrated,
Mm-hmm.
and just, you know how you get when you get overheated?
You don't want to do
You
anything
just
else.
don't want to do anything. You just want
Right.
to kind of just fall in the pond and just,
and be done for the day.
Yeah.
And you just don't want to do that. This goes back to not setting yourself up to fail. And one of the comments that went through is making sure that you don't put in too many projects in your day. And that's why we kind of pick one project from each thing that we got going on. Like you have a whatever your goal is for shooting your videos that day, you're going to do it. Whether it's writing a script or doing whatever, you're doing that. Then, with the kids, they have their list of things that needs to be done. I have a list of things that need to be graded or need to be followed up on with the kids. So everybody has, a good... And one of the questions I forgot, they were asking if we both work or if we leave to the homestead for the day. No. Jason stays home during the day. He works on YouTube, works on homeschooling kids, getting the farm up and running every day.
And I'm talking to the guys right now. Fellas, I know we are men. But don't be afraid to delegate. And I think, and it's probably not in this community, I'm probably just preaching to the choir, but when you step outside our community, you'll see a lot of parents not wanting to give their children chores.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the many reasons why we started homesteading. My kids needed to have chores.
Mm-hmm.
And in Joe
Responsibility.
Schmo neighborhood, it's kind of hard to find them outside of the realm of cutting the grass, doing the dishes, doing the laundry, blah, blah, blah.
Say hi to Brad.
Hi, Brad. Big family?
Yeah.
So, Brad, no, never mind. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to be nice today. I'm going to be nice. I'm going to be nice.
Be
I'm gonna
nice. Keep going.
I was just going to talk about his video that he sent me. Or his audition video.
Yeah, Simply Circus said theirs have chores And they have to do them until they're done right.
Exactly.
Yes.
Done and done correctly.
Yeah,
And-
that's a big thing.
Yeah. And when it empowers them and it helps build their confidence and it makes them feel like they're part of a team, part of the family nucleus, and it gives them a sense of belonging,
Right.
you know. And then all of a sudden,
And they have ownership.
yes, they have ownership.
Right.
And then when something is extremely successful, they have the joy and the happiness and the pride that comes with it being successful. And then when it fails, some of our best ideas, when we have something that we've tried that just fails, when we sit in this schoolhouse and we have what we call our think tanks, okay, why did it fail? Where did we go wrong? What did you notice? What did you notice? Some of our better ideas usually end up coming out of the two youngest ones. And that's one of the things that being able to juggle everything that goes on in a homestead makes it a lot easier when you can look at person A and say, okay, you go take care of all the fowl, chickens, ducks, turkeys, quail, blah, blah, blah. And phew, they're gone. And you look at the other one and go, you start weeding the sweet potato bed. Phew. You go do this. I'm going to do this. Mom's going to do that. And it becomes a well-oiled machine that pretty soon you don't have to tell child A to go take care of the fowl. They're doing it. You don't have to tell child B to go feed the pigs and child C to get in the garden, and you're doing this. It becomes a well-oiled machine, and then when something happens that throws the old monkey wrench in there, as a team you're able to come back and regroup
Right.
and readjust. You know, the dads are almost like, well, yeah, we're the quarterback of the family. If you want to throw it in football terms for you fellas out there, we're the quarterback in the family. And sometimes when we step up to the line, we got to call an audible.
Right.
But with those audibles, everybody still needs to know their job. And one of the things that we like to do here on our homestead is, like, I have my son teach my oldest daughter his jobs. And then my oldest daughter teaches
The youngest.
her jobs. And I'm teaching my son my jobs. And Robin is teaching her jobs to Carol.
That's how the whole crocheting thing
Yep.
came about. I was just doing it. I got hurt Thanksgiving last year.
Yep.
And I was bedridden and on my butt for a while.
Not as long as she should have been.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about
So
that.
anyway, I started learning, and then it turned into, well, let's do this together. And anyway, so basically, the overall consensus here is yes. Like Amanda said, my son has a Minecraft habit that will disappear until chores are done and done correctly. Simply Circus Crack Mem said they do laundry old school, off-grid style. Not done right equals dirty underwear.
So how do you guys do it?
So let's see. Wait.
Do you have a video on it on your
That's for Simply
channel?
Circus.
Simply Circus?
Doc says, wait now, Amanda, I have a Minecraft habit too at 3 a.m.
It's not the only habit he has.
Amanda's Garden says, right on, Simply Circus. Like I have said before, my mama had a saying, you don't work, you don't eat. Yeah, but don't let DHS know that.
Oh, you're going to bring that up.
Or DFAX or whoever. Don't tell them that. Because you're not allowed to withhold food from your children. You're not. It's not a form of punishment. You're not allowed to do it. Okay, Big Family Homestead. He says, I like Warren... Wait, it just jumped on me. I like Warren Sapp over Peyton Manning. Okay, so somebody asked, what if it's just you and you have health limitations? This is where not setting yourself up to fail.
Or you can do what I learned about through the homesteading network through Dirt Patch Heaven is you can get what they're calling a woofer. And this is a individual who wants to homestead, wants to learn about homesteading, wants to learn about living sustainable. They come, from my understanding, now you can go over to her channel, shoot her a message, subscribe, blah blah blah. From my understanding is you have to give them a place to stay and feed and water them, and they'll do work for you to get the experience. So that's an option. And it really depends on your disabilities. Don't step outside of the realm of your disabilities. I mean, if you're in a wheelchair, then don't try to plant a row garden. Do raised beds.
Right.
If you can't step outside the realm of your disability because you're going to set yourself up to fail. Stay within what you can work with your disability, do it extremely well, and then you can use those items that you have, like if you did a raised bed garden because you're in a wheelchair and you raised your beds up way high and you do square foot companion gardening and you have just a bumper crop of peppers or tomatoes or whatever, then you can use those to barter for some of the other things that you're unable to do, like maybe some raw milk or something.
Okay, so your answer for the off-grid stuff is they have a hand wringer and and a washboard and a clothesline. Okay, so everybody's kind of jumping on this whole thing about not withholding food. Somebody said not withholding it, just changing the time they eat. Yes, that there's always a way to go around it. Grandpa said no one said what that food had to be. Yes, they did.
They did?
Yes, we were told. Yes.
I stopped listening to her after like 5 minutes after she started talking anyway.
So anyway, Simply Circus said Doug and Stacy talk about setting up to age. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's what we're doing right now. Even though we're kind of in that 40s range.
Look, my son is 17, and he's getting ready to go off to Harris Island to be one of the few, the proud, just like his old man. But right now, we are setting things up to be able to stay functional when I'm in my 60s, 70s, 80s, and Lord willing, till he calls me home. We are putting in a lot of rainwater catchment systems for each one of the areas that our livestock go to. We're doing a lot of that stuff, and to be honest with you, he's digging a lot of trenches. But I'm getting all of these things in order so that way when I lose a member of my team for them to go off and do their own thing, it doesn't hurt as much for this well-oiled machine to go into effect. And now granted, we might, once the kids start leaving, we might turn it back a couple of notches because we don't need to raise 1,000 pounds of beef because we don't have 4 teenagers with their heads stuck in the refrigerator just eating.
Right. Simply Circus says, I give them seeds and bullets. You want to eat it, grow it, or kill it. Big Family says, all our kids have chores we all pull together. And that's basically what it boils down to. Like, even in our house, when they're doing chores in the morning during the week, I cannot do that, especially right now because of the shower situation. Maybe once the shower gets fixed, I might be able to. But basically the way we have it set up right now...
Did y'all see that bus that just went by?
That was a train, not a bus.
That was T.W. Gilt that just went by.
But anyway, what we do is on Saturdays and Sundays... I go out there with them and I help with the chores, so there's a little bit more ownership for me because I get a little removed from the homestead during the week, especially during the winter time when it gets darker earlier. Right now it's not so bad because it's still light. I mean, outside the door right now it's almost 9 o'clock and it's still,
Yeah, but in the
dusk.
wintertime we're hunting and trapping most of the time, and
Right.
you like the beaver trap, and that's it.
Well, but see, all you have to do is turn. Well, you can't even turn me loose in a beaver pond because I almost went under last season. That was not fun.
You can't be trusted alone.
Let's see what we got.
But you keep your journal or 3-ring binder, and you keep your notes, and you do the same thing especially for your garden. Where you placed your tomato plants that year, and how well they did. If they did bad, well, how much you can start to take notes. Well, this spot is a little too shady, or this spot they're just getting burned up. It's got way too much sun, and then you can move it next year. You want to also plan things to be as less maintenance as possible. That's why and got $10 says Doc's fixing to chime in here. That's one of the main reasons why I use the Back to Eden method. I do that deep mulch, so that way it's less to no weeding whatsoever. With our chickens and the chicken tractors, it's, yes, you have to move them every day, but if you got a rainwater catchment system on there, you don't have to drag a hose over there,
right,
or you don't have to carry buckets of water over there, and that's time saving, and that's just back saving. And as we get older as homesteaders, those are things that we have to think about. Like, we're getting ready to build our milking barn. It's going to be our permanent milking barn. I hurt my back in the Marine Corps. People, naturally, as we get older, our backs get weaker anyway. I am designing this milking barn for the cows to walk up a ramp.
So we don't have to lean over.
Well, one, so that way we don't have to lean over, and then two, that way I don't have to try to go up and down steps, because when you start to get old, steps start to become a challenge.
Mm-hmm. And then bending over, I mean, as we're younger, it's okay, but...
And we have a milking machine. Not milking by hand unless the fecal matter has hit the oscillation device.
Right.
Now, I can do it. I know I can do it. If the power's out that day, I'll do it that day.
And we've had to have that.
And we've
had to do that.
Have had that. So those are all things, and it keeps you in practice too.
Right.
But those are all things that you start to think about. If you're building a new barn, say, okay, I need to build this so that way it's easy for me when I'm 60 or 70. Because if it's going to be easier for you when you're 60 or 70, when you get it built in your 40s, it's going to be a breeze then.
So one of the questions is our machine on a battery? No, it's not. It is an electric machine right now. But
that it can be converted.
Right, it can be converted. And again, we may, and Grandpa said that's smart, make the cows do the climbing. Absolutely. Yep. And really, if you've ever visited a dairy, that's what they do. They have ramps that they build up, and then the people that do the milking and hook up the machines are able to just walk up.
Yeah, they've got it's a trench like a Jiffy Lube. They walk down into their trench, and the cows walk in, and then they just go doo-doo.
Right. And the other thing I think too, and I'm just thinking, but it would seem that it would be safer too, because when you're hunched over and you're trying to milk, you may lose your balance if the cow just happens to buck or move or swishes his tail. Mm-hmm. When you're just be able to stand there, seems to me you're a lot more agile and able to move if something happens all of a sudden. So those are the things that we're keeping in mind. Yes, we are setting ourselves up to age here because this is our forever homestead and this is where we're going to stay. So we're starting to just very slowly start putting all that stuff in place.
Like with the rotating pastures, like how Salatin does it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm setting it up so I can do it at 80 years old. And how am I doing that? Well, I got a hard fence on my right side. I'm going to put a hard fence right next to the driving path on the left, and then I'm going to just run electric from side to side. That way I don't have to try to make a big square.
Right.
Because as I get older, that's going to take a long time, and I don't have that. We won't have that kind of time versus running my strand side to side, and I'll more than likely have connectors on each fence post, and then I can just put 1 or 2 or 4 of the temporary posts down in, and then as we move along and you get up in age, you don't have to work. I mean, it just making life easier, especially when you're planning like us for this to be your forever homestead. You're gonna age here. I'm gonna die here, Lord willing, and so I need to make this where I'm still able to do it at 70, 80 years old.
Right.
Plus, I still want to be able to teach this way of life when I'm 70 and 80 years old. So that's another thing that I take into consideration, because that's the main focus of the Big Bear Homestead, is we are a teaching homestead. So when I get older in life, I gotta make it to where I'm still able to do these things and be able to teach people when they come here. What?
Grandpa said you will if you keep picking on Robin.
To be able to teach things here like milking the cow, the back to Eden garden method, the rainwater catchment systems. The thought process has to be, okay, how am I going to be able to teach this when I'm 80 or 70 or 60?
Be able to teach it to your next generation, your grandkids, to keep.
Yeah. Because when I was in my late teens, 20s, and early 30s, I was not good to my body. I jumped out of perfectly good airplanes for no reason whatsoever. I let them put a big cable on my back and had a helicopter snatch me up. I've done all kinds of things that as I get older, my body is going to be like, hey, you remember when you did this, you jerk? Pay for it now. I know that's coming. So I am taking the time that I have now, where I still got a little dexterity and mobility about myself, to plan ahead to make it to where I can still go. I like raw milk. I like it. I'll go to jail over raw milk. I will. And so for me to be able to have it, I got to have the cow. And for me to be able to have the cow, I got to be able to milk it. Because as successful as my children are going to be, they're not going to come back and milk my cow for me twice a day.
Right.
So when I'm building my milking barn, I have to take that into consideration.
Well, it's no different, and some people might disagree with me, but it's no different than how we've picked buying our refrigerator, our washer, and our dryer for our house. We didn't go cheapy anymore on anything, because we know that we need to invest in that kind of stuff for right now, because we're not always going to have young kids around to do all the stuff that, we went and bought the pedestals for our washer and dryer, and that was because of Jason's back and with mine too, because, eventually you're going to be hunching over to pick stuff up, and you just don't want to do that.
All right,
I know we got like 2 seconds, but they're still talking about all of that stuff. Y'all keep talking.
She used a good word, invest. And that's one of the things that you got to keep in mind with this journal or notebook that I told you guys to make. Every entry that you're making in there, and every note that you're taking and putting in there, you are investing in the success of your homestead, your future, your freedom. So that's how you can go about juggling all of these things. Learn yourself, learn more about yourself, what your limitations are.
And
set your homestead up to fit inside those limitations. And then make a plan, work your plan, but if something happens to divert your plan, have a backup plan.
Right.
So, all right, it is 8:59. We've got to call it a night. It goes by so fast when y'all are here. Don't forget, we'll be back live Monday nights, same bat time, or same bear time, same bear channel. Right now, I want y'all to kick it over there to Go for Green Living.
Yeah, everybody that's in this chat room, go over to Go for Green. Because I would love to see all 83 or 85 people head on over there. Because that would be awesome.
That would be
for
awesome,
them.
yes. I appreciate all y'all coming tonight. Did you just say 85?
Yeah, we hit 85.
Thank you so wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we did.
Wow, I love you guys. Thanks. Woo! Hashtag 85. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, y'all.
Yep.
You couldn't have told me that earlier?
I didn't want you to get distracted
Wow.
any more than I already was.
Wow, that is awesome, y'all. Thank you so much. That is just
9 o'clock.
wow. It's 9 o'clock. Gotta go. Don't forget to check us out on the web, www.bigbearhomestead.com. If you're first time here on the live show, please subscribe to us. If so, blah, then go right now over to Go for Green Living with Daniel and them in Alabama. And don't forget to come back Saturday for all the folks that are on Saturday. Don't forget Brad's Tech Talk on Thursdays. And I got so much to say. Just go to the homesteadnetwork.com and it should all be listed, right, Brad?
Yes.
You didn't get it caught up, right? All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate it. Have a good night. And like always, have a nice day.